All right, y'all, welcome to the show. Let's have some fun. So we got Andrew Schulz and Charlamagne are going to debate Trump's legal problems. I find that discussion really, really interesting. Later on in the show, Ron DeSantis answers the question if he's willing to be Donald Trump's VP. And then also, one of the most famous statues in the world, the statue of David, is now leading to teachers getting fired and to principals getting fired as well. So you can say cancel culture run amok is one way to describe that. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it here. So Charlamagne and Andrew Schulz on their podcast, Brilliant Idiots, decided to debate the issue of Trump's legal problems. I thought it was a really good back and forth. Let's listen and we'll break it down.
Did Trump get arrested? We're recording this on Tuesday. Did he get arrested yet or
Trump's
not?
not getting arrested, guys. Come on.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
What?
Don't do this.
He's not getting arrested,
Don't
guys. Come
do
on.
this. Somebody go find
Are
the video
you
where I said
fucking
these
serious?
exact words to Charlamagne, and you were saying he's getting arrested. I'll bet any
I
amount of
said
money.
this 3 years ago. I put it like this.
Hold on.
If they indict a former president, it's not going to be for these charges. These charges are weak as fuck, bro.
Hold on. But you did say
This guy.
that you did say that he was going to get arrested, and I was like, they won't arrest a former president.
Yeah. I think I agree with you. Yeah.
All right, so that's fun. Look, on the weak charges point, it is certainly the weakest of the potential charges against Donald Trump. We all know there's the Georgia case going on right now where he was like, find me 11,000 votes, and you have, the fake electors plot, which is a much more serious crime, and, honestly, it's a heavier charge, so you got that going on. You, of course, have the classified documents case going on, which would have been a stronger case had it not been for the fact that immediately after that, you had Joe Biden and you had Mike Pence stumble across 7,014. I apparently don't know how to count. 7,412 different classified documents of their own. So you have that one sort of feels like maybe there's not as much oomph to it because apparently everybody who's a politician or with a position of power is just taking classified documents left and right. But you also have various business charges against Donald Trump. But in terms of the potential cases that are out there, Charlamagne is actually right that it's the weaker of the potential cases. The closest thing that's analogous is they tried to get John Edwards on something similar to this, and they failed. I think he got indicted, but he didn't get convicted. And so perhaps that's where Charlamagne is coming from. But I don't know, man. The other point to make, which I think is a fair point as well, is that usually the feds don't move on stuff like this unless it's kind of like a slam dunk case. It's a little harder in the case of Trump because it's a novel way they're applying the law. It's like mixing both a misdemeanor and a felony to use the felony charges. It's a little complex, but usually they don't act on this unless they feel confident that they can, win the case. And I will point out that whether or not he did it is not even really an open question anymore. I mean, everybody knows he had the affair. Everybody knows there was a payoff. Just the question is, the legal channels they went through in order to do that, did they do it the right way? Did they dot their I's? Did they cross their T's? We have very loose campaign finance laws in this country, but any minor violation on a campaign finance front, they really do throw the book at you. And it looks like it could have been considered an in-kind contribution, the payoff to Stormy Daniels, the hush money, but it wasn't reported as such. So anyway, this is a long way of saying to you, I don't know what's going to happen, but let's continue.
I think I agree with you. I don't see it happening, bro. This man, I can't change my mind upon further review.
You said it with so much conviction, though.
I believed in the checks and balances. I believed that nobody is above the law. Teflon Don has proven me wrong until further notice, and I still don't think that they'll do it.
I don't think they'll do it either.
If he's got all of these federal charges he's facing, right? Merrick Garland. We already know the classified documents shit. You might as well throw that out. They done caught everybody with classified documents. That's out the window.
I thought it was some taxes in New York that they wanted to catch him on.
That's still open.
That's still open.
Yeah,
That's still open?
they're still open.
And there was one business case, I should point out, where he was found guilty, but I think it was a civil case. Either that or it was a criminal case, and there was like $1 million fine or something, which is to him is like nothing. So I don't know, man.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
But every one of these rich motherfuckers breaks the law with taxes.
But
And man,
basically, they're saying that this small thing is just to hold them, and then there's going to be a bunch of other charges.
They're saying
everywhere.
this shit is a misdemeanor.
Nah,
No, I know. This is just like
what they saying is Trump, don't run for president.
Yeah.
That's what they saying.
But
And
so-
he not getting the message.
So why make him bigger? You know what this shit is, man? You remember in Endgame when Thanos got hit in the chest? And he's like, you should have went for the head.
Yeah,
if it's not a headshot,
Yeah.
don't do it.
So rumor
So I disagree on that point for the very simple reason. I mean, it's the old thing everybody brings up, I think rightly so. It's like getting Al Capone on tax evasion, right? Anything you could get him on it. Now, by the way, that also goes for other elites, whether they're in the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, or no party whatsoever. If they're guilty of crimes, take them down on some kind of a crime. If you can't get them on the big crime, then I'll settle for something less. So I actually have the polar opposite philosophy on that point. I mean, to give him credit, though, he might be right in that it makes it less likely you'll actually win, which then would be a massive issue, and then it wouldn't be worth going through all the trouble. But look, in terms of him getting stronger, we've pointed this out a million times. Yeah, he'll get stronger in the Republican primary, but in the general, he will be worse off, I guarantee you, because independents, moderates, normies, they're not, if they see an indictment, they think, yeah, of course, where there's smoke, there's fire. He's probably guilty of 700 crimes. And they're right in that instinct.
that a bunch of charges are going to start dropping from everywhere around the country.
They said New York,
the Atlanta ballot
Georgia,
shit.
and the federal charges. That's only 5. I heard 5 solid ones.
That's a lot.
Not really, because this shit is a misdemeanor. Like, yo,
Yeah, you really need more than this to arrest a president.
yes,
bro.
and they talk.
It's not just a misdemeanor. It's a misdemeanor and a felony that they're putting together.
Yo, they talk about indicting him but not handcuffing him. Yo, all you're doing is making him bigger. I guarantee you,
that
over the
happened.
last couple of days, all you've seen is so many donations going to Trump shit.
I mean, that is 100% right. If you arrest him and he gets off, he's president guaranteed.
they say this is a they say
I
this
think-
right here.
No. Again, he's going to go up in the primary. He's going to go down in the general. That's the way it works. I'm telling you. Because think about, and here's the thing. Think about it with literally any other politician. Even just the investigation into Hillary Clinton made her go down. So again, I think it's likely he'll go down in the general because none of this stuff helps. It only helps in a Republican primary where they circle the wagons and they say the guys we don't like are going after the guy we like, so we need to defend the guy we like even harder.
New York is already a guaranteed misdemeanor. And I'm going to tell you what else is fucked
Guaranteed
up about
misdemeanor?
it. Yes.
Yeah, like it won't be a felony.
They say it won't be a felony.
But I'm saying even putting him through this process is going to be enough to galvanize
Yeah.
Already
every
happened.
person who is anti-establishment because this is abuse of power from the establishment.
Already happened.
No. No, the left anti-establishment position is, of course, you should take this fucker down. By the way, while you're at it, go get Bush, go get Cheney. I'll throw Biden in the mix. All of them are guilty of war crimes, corruption. Obama, same thing, drone war, 90% civilian death rate. I mean, we can go on and on. That's the real anti-establishment position. It's funny to me when people who think they're anti-establishment suddenly find themselves simping for an elitist criminal. Now, I think he's right that the so-called anti-establishment people on the right are going to fall in line and defend Trump, but that's because they're suckers, right? They're useful idiots. It's like, no pun intended, because the name of their show is Brilliant Idiots. I mean, when you get to the point where you're defending a billionaire, elitist, war criminal, and regular criminal, that's Trump, it's like, are you really all that anti-establishment? No, you just like a particular wing of the establishment that you are pretending is anti-establishment. Now, he pretends he's anti-establishment too, right, as part of his branding, but he's nowhere near it. Again, his biggest legislative accomplishment was a tax cut where it was a $2 trillion tax cut for the wealthy. 83% of the bill went to the top 1%. There were 200,000 jobs outsourced under him. In no world is he anti-establishment.
People that I've talked to, somebody sent me this.
It's not
It was
abuse
like,
of power.
You don't think?
Nah,
They said
because
what?
like he actually did these crimes. It's just
Thank you. Yes, it's not an abuse of power to go after him. He did the abuses of power, and they're correctly trying to get him on that. So who's really abusing the power? It's him who's abusing the power. He's just used to abusing his power and getting away with it. So when you try to bring about justice and accountability, it feels like oppression to him.
usually
they don't
in
know
the
if this
past
is a
they would
crime,
be-
though.
Nah, it is though.
they don't know if this is a crime because they said that somebody sent me this yesterday. It was like, this isn't like, one of the mobsters with tax evasion.
Yes, it is.
It's more like one of the mobsters stealing a carton of cigarettes when he was on the come up.
Now,
No.
so the DA.
No. Imagine the exact same set of facts, but Joe Biden did it. What would the right say? Think about it. $140,000 hush money payment to a porn star you allegedly had an affair with who was going to come out with her story, and you're trying to keep the story on the low. And so $140,000 payment done through your fixer, a.k.a. your lawyer at the time, Michael Cohen, who, by the way, is on the record the entire time now. Ever since Trump stabbed him in the back, he came out with all the dirt. And he was like, yeah, I'll tell you exactly what went down. I'll tell you exactly how it worked. And he has. Same set of facts, and a Democrat did it. The right would not shut up. They would never shut up about it. Because they'd realize, yes, we got one. Yes, we're so right on this one. We're just going to hammer this home. And they wouldn't be wrong, But with Trump, they're like, this is nothing, look away. It's ridiculous.
Really charges people unless they know they can win. Like their success rate is crazy high.
Yeah.
So they've been investigating this one for so long.
They threw it out, though. They threw it out years
but this
ago.
is just, they used campaign funds to pay off Stormy Daniels, allegedly.
They can't prove if it was actual campaign funds.
So they're misstating it a little bit. They didn't report the $140,000 payment to Stormy. It didn't come out of campaign funds. I thought so originally, but that's not true. They didn't report the $140,000 payment to Stormy Daniels as a campaign expenditure, which means they're committing fraud in the process because they're not telling you what that money actually is for. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas, and by the way, they may have gotten away with it if they literally filed it, $140,000 payment, and put it as some sort of a campaign expenditure. Then it might have been legal, but they didn't. And so now we're talking about it could be illegal.
Starts talking, they can.
I don't think that's going to happen.
So here, now it's all contingent on the lawyer. So they're going to try to put as much pressure as they possibly can.
Yeah.
But eventually it's going to seem like, I don't know.
By the way, we don't even know if the DA really wants to press charges.
Well, that's the thing.
This came from Trump.
Yeah,
Trump put this out there.
Oh, that's
Trump's
interesting.
team said we haven't heard from the DA's office. Trump put this out there.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, so Trump floated that Tuesday date for arrest, probably to gin up support, gin up donations, and it worked. Everybody fell for it. I mean, to give myself credit and Crystal credit, we didn't. We titled it breaking, Trump to be arrested Tuesday, ? And in the video, we said, there's really no evidence. He says he's going to be arrested Tuesday. But, at some point, right? Indicted, arrested, it appears like that's going to happen. It appears like it. They're already making preparations in New York and whatnot, but they also ran into trouble with bomb threats and stuff, like Trump going out there and sort of riling everybody up and telling them, protest, get out there. It's sort of like threatening another January 6th in a way. And there's been a number of death threats against Alvin Bragg, and there's been a number of bomb threats as well.
So Trump, oh, wow. He has to be looked at as the victim. He has to be looked at as the underdog. So he's putting this information out so people come to his aid and his support. They're afraid of me. They don't want me to run. Look at this. They're trying to arrest me. They're trying to lock me up because they know that I can win. He was cold in these streets. Everybody was on DeSantis.
He wasn't. No, they weren't.
Not everybody was on DeSantis.
Bro, the GOP primary polls got Trump winning by a landslide. I don't know why we...
That's true, but in the wake of the midterms, when all of the candidates who were most like Trump and closest to Trump and parroting his talking points, the most Trumpy candidates got destroyed. So there was a window where DeSantis was actually up in a lot of polls. So Schulz is right about that, but now Charlamagne is right. It's totally flipped. Now it's right back to Trump.
Saying this, I keep telling. How you sleeping on your boy?
Let me clarify. Let me restate what I'm saying. Yes, I believe he does win the primary, but the energy in the Republican Party was towards DeSantis. It seemed like the Republican Party wanted DeSantis to win. That big guy who owns a Citadel, what's his name? It's the hedge
Ken
fund,
Griffin.
Citadel. Look that up real quick. Ken Griffin.
Ken Griffin. I used to have his sneakers as a child.
So
Yeah,
Ken Griffin, he actually supported Trump originally, and he switched his allegiance, I think, to DeSantis. A lot of big donors going to DeSantis. So this is the first big push I've seen in the Trump direction in a while. He made it happen himself.
Trump still was raising more money than DeSantis. Raising more money than all of them. And here's the thing. Why do we not act like the Republicans aren't the biggest dick-riding party in the world?
Yeah, they're going
I mean, look, Schulz is right. Even today, yeah, the Republican establishment wants DeSantis. Most of the Fox News hosts now want DeSantis. On the low, they don't wear it on their sleeve because then their audience would revolt. But like the money to interest in the Republican Party want DeSantis. There's even an education gap. The more educated a Republican is, the more likely they are to support DeSantis. But yeah, the base at this point, 100% with Trump. I mean, it is what it is. Most polls have him at about 50% now, some even more. DeSantis down at about anywhere from 18 to 20%, maybe 23. So, I mean, he's hanging in there, but it's a rough ride because, you know, like I said, they circle the wagons as soon as their boy's under fire. And it's the Trump show again. It's like we're watching a reality show. Trump is the star, and people can't keep their eyes off it. So, I don't know. Interesting debate between the two of them. We'll see what happens, but there are a lot of cases pending against Trump. You know what I mean? A lot of cases. And that'll only help him in the Republican primary. It'll only hurt him in the general. And the people who understand that the best, I think, are people like Mitch McConnell, other Republican, Rupert Murdoch. These are people who know that, like, if we can't break free from this dude, we're just going to be in trouble for national elections because normies see him for what he is now, and they're like, this guy should be nowhere near power. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.